Okay. I want to set the record straight. Today I visited my father, and he was in a very, very different humor than the day before yesterday, which prompted me to write the truth on my blog. He did that at the first time that I would come to visit him, and he would just disregard me, basically, like, who the fuck is this guy? You're gonna say, but that's a mental illness, that's an age, that's a mental illness. No, not in his case, because I remember what went on during MK Ultra. I remember the stuff that he pulled during my visits, and clearly the answers that he was giving me whenever I was taking the subjects in other areas were crystal clear. And even more so, when I was confronting him, not confronting him really, I was not confronting him, absolutely not. I was trying to help him out. I was trying to get him out of the home for elderly people as fast as possible. Not only him out of elderly people, but to close this case, so that I can offer him a lifestyle that is his only choice if he would be outside of the home for elderly people. That's basically home where my mother could come to visit him, but where he would not be on the way to the mother, and where he would simply be with me. I can only do this by finishing this case, by pointing out what took place, which I'm not going to say the easiest way it could be done, through the use of the father, because I'm the one who's being used in the process literally by the father, especially its why. But simply because there is no place, not for the police, not for the Slovenian government, not for him, not for the British Illuminatis, not for the MI5, not for the CIA, not for FBI, not for American Illuminati, not for any Illuminati, basically. There is no escape from this. There's been too many proofs submitted about the stuff that went on. And I am not complying with the gag orders. It is just as simple. So why to extend agony? Why to agonize yourself at home for elderly people, when eventually, if you want to leave, you will have to change. You will have to change your ways from what used to be entire lifetime into acceptable for reality behavior, so that you can help yourself, because you're not going to help me in absolutely any way. I will not even accept any help. But for your own sake, so that you can have something, you can actually help me by helping yourself, so I can have some form of satisfaction that I made sure that father did not rotten in some government institution, but instead in what should be called as home. That's all there is to it. There is none other. With police, with United Nations, U.S. Justice Department of State, European Union Commission, Court for Human Rights in Strasbourg, Europol and Interpol. I could already make the music about that. It's taken, unfortunately, insane. I'm not gonna say longer, but what the fuck are you guys about anyways, to put it this way? Let me start off this video, yesterday's meeting with my father. I'm not gonna give you any kind of audio stuff. I'm not allowed to video record inside of the home for elderly people. But let me start one with this gentleman right here who was involved in MK Ultra.
Who was responsible for this?
His girlfriend, still his girlfriend, I be damned. And this guy looks really young. I don't know, did the two met like 15, with age 15 or something like that? Whichever way the two met, definitely the two met through my case. He was involved already as a kid, in my case, as a child. And he came across the Russian girlfriend, and I don't like to meddle in this stuff. He told me even that if I would not approve his Russian girlfriend, that he would not marry her and stuff like this. It appears to me that he attempts to marry her. You see, and then it was entire American orchestra. Every time when I say orchestra, I think about the Kennedy Orchestra. Kennedy Orchestra, I love that. Kennedy Orchestra. All through involved in this. I think about the Kennedy Orchestra. By the way, this guy, wherever he goes, is whatever I was tortured at, and also on his behalf, so that he could do movies and stuff. He literally picked up all the leads from the Slovenian police, from CIA, FBI. MK Ultra case is meeting local people, and whatever location that he traveled to and met people, it's exactly the people who were involved in MK Ultra. This guy right there. Even if the people were saying only hi to him on the street. I am not insane. This is the MK Ultra. This is the way this stuff is done.
Fact that my First Amendment.
I already changed the page because I was going to say to you, everyone that you have seen on that page right there, videos that I watched, everyone was involved in MK Ultra. Every one of these people. Every one of these people. Muhammad Ali was involved in this, big time, a lot. All these girls, including the Russian speaker right there, everyone, and that's not Maria Zakharova. Everyone
was responsible for
with
this.
Maria Zakharova offering this girlfriend as her substitute to me during MK Ultra. It's like this. Kennedy Orchestra. If you like the good music, then just go. I don't understand what the hell I did here. Kennedy Orchestra. It's like this. Kennedy Orchestra. The doors. Yeah, you can see it. If you like good orchestra, you know, I like good orchestra, but you know, I don't like cretins. You know, I don't like moths. Do you like moth? You know what a moth looks like? Moth. That's a moth right there. See this? This stuff here? They planted this stuff inside of my room in front of me repeatedly. That will eat your clothing and stuff like this. Those kind of moths. They delivered me from Poland to do the schizophrenia in my face. Even from Poland they were hijacking me. Talking about the moths from here, from this location, the moths. Moths. That's a moths. That's you have a lot of moths inside in there. And it's moths come in different forms. That's what I refer to as the bureaucrats also. The state. Moths. Of course, not every state. If the state works for you, you would pursue your state officials. Obviously, is different. I pursued you in America, in Britain, in Germany, and other locations. I was pursuing you for a very long time in a very different way. Now I no longer see myself in you. Moths. Moths like moths, basically. Moths. Real moths. They make damage, basically. They move in, and they'll eat your clothing and stuff, and they'll do the damage. That's all it is. Moths. He is complaining about a gag order that he got. And sure enough, there's my comment right there that I posted him. But this is how I'm going to start the video today about my father, pertaining to the visit to my father. Yeah, it's a good video. It makes a lot of sense. Those that are involved in it will not like this even a little bit, because, well, because you are in such an inferior position. You are in no control position. And your biggest mistake is that you do not realize how meaningless you really are in this case. Why is it that things always go wrong with the Russian girlfriends? So, this is about a gag order. He got a gag order. He'll present you a piece of paper, the court paper, and that court paper orders the IRS, FBI orders him to shut up, basically.
In all of his social media platforms, prohibiting him from commenting on the case or its fact pattern in any fashion, and from attempting to monetize the prosecution in any form.
Yeah. Why is it things always go wrong with the Russian girlfriends? You have to explain how you try to shut down my channel through your US government conspiracy, giving support to pro-Serbian, pro-Russian, Slovenian executives against me through as seen here. This was already negotiated between you and US government officials and Slovenian politicians on whose behalf you plotted genocide against me. You demanded, extorted me during MK Ultra way before US government created troll out of you. As you know, this is a famous, I don't know even what the fuck this guy does. Like a trash car individual. He is good at burning expensive cars. Because I'm not interested in burning cars at all. Even the old car for me personally has a value. I don't think I would even have a heart. Do you understand that? Let me explain to you. I want this to be video recorded. I don't even have a heart in me that I would go, and it would be old car, you know, that I would go and destroy the car, that I would crash the car. I think that all the cars have souls. Why do I think like this? Because the drivers, whether they fucking hated their cars, or is it that they love their cars? Basically, they might have shared good moments or bad moments or whatever it is. You know, really, it's like a lifetime, basically, of a human being. Everything comes at one point to the end, you know? And the car is just a car, you know? Maybe the way it was brought in this world was not in exactly best way. But then finally it was all those owners that inherit one and either saw this in it, or they did not saw themselves in it, or whatever the case might have been. But trashing cars, that's a sign of mental illness. That's just your something terribly wrong with you. And I'm not saying that it's wrong with you. I'm not saying that you are fucking stupid that you are doing this. And I'm not saying if you're as an ordinary person. I find it understandable if the guy goes. I read about that somebody took, I don't know, a sledgehammer or whatever and smashed a Ferrari and Porsche and Mercedes, whatever, in front of their headquarters. People do stuff like this. People do all kinds of stuff. And I'm not here to judge anybody, any one of you, because based on trashing cars, I cannot do that. There is MK Ultra out there, and people are brainwashed to see things as it might be they play with your employment. It might be that play with you in different forms that give you certain mental issues that you are simply confronting through maybe even abuse of the car, maybe breaking deliberately car, maybe, you know, doing whatever the hell you're doing to relieve yourself from, or, you know, maybe even create your character, I don't know, from whatever issue you might suffer from. But it's not natural to do that stuff. So whatever the case might be, I'm not condemning you. I'm not, you know. I just, for me personally, for the gain, that I would go out there and buy a car and then just go and slam the fuck out of that car, burn the car, explode the car, detonate the car, unless it would be for some kind of meaningful tests, you know, like preserving, you know, giving the people the ability to see how those cars are crash or whatever, you know, how they that would be a different thing, you know. That would be a totally, or to demonstrate something, whatever, the impact or whatever. That would be totally different thing. That I completely approve. So, but I don't approve just going out there and doing the stuff. I'm not really a fan of that stuff, and when I see that kind of stuff and kind of fancy cars don't really impress me in any way. I am just not really into fancy cars. I like good cars, but that don't cost too much and they're worth their value, and you know, that kind of stuff. As a car enthusiast, I'm not into uncomfortable. I like comfortable cars, you know, that kind of stuff. Safe cars, safety, comfort. All I wanted to say is, this guy did not even exist anywhere when he was already implicated in a gag order. And you do have the case right here. This is my case right here. That after filing a complaint based on physical assault which took place against me, I find myself in a role of a defendant. Exactly pertaining to the guy that I demonstrated you. 2 days ago I have a DHL driver delivering the neighbor Peterlin some package in the morning. He was also involved in it. The two claimed that as soon as you see me delivering him a package, it's a nice gift that I ordered from the internet for myself, but that's not going to be the case for you, ha ha ha. You're going to get a court order and stuff like this. Bunch of these gurus coming out with these issues. You're trying to play me down. You try to intimidate me. What are you trying to accomplish with this thing? You're trying to play down my expectations. My show is not about the cars. You know what my show is about? Something you don't like to hear. That's that word that you don't like to hear. That's not about the car show. That's not about trashing cars. That's not about the stuff. And actually, I'm so toxic that I am not even interested in profiting from my channel, from my work. That's how toxic I am. I'm toxic like this because they censored my channels. I'm toxic like this because they intimidated with earning money. Talking about the police, completely illegal criminal stuff that I already reported about, with literally entering house with people that offer online income, using them as a torture tool, introducing all kinds of online income companies and executives and owners of those companies, literally discouraging me, calling me mentally ill, and prohibiting me from making any kind of money when I attempted even to to do some earnings and stuff like that. I don't make any kind of earnings. You can see that my blog gets about 10, 16 views per page. Right? But that this is the way they present. You can see that my YouTube channel get like 1 or 2 views. Well, this is the way they present this case. And he's talking about a gag order. We obviously live in a completely parallel worlds. Obviously our worlds don't have anything common here. He was a nobody when the US government already started to intimidate me, using him on behalf of this scum here from Slovenia to tune down, comply with the court orders, whatever the judge tells you, and see the judge even in Slovenia as a judge. There is no fucking judge in Slovenia as a judge. This is the first lesson that you're gonna learn. There is no fucking judge in Slovenia. There's only one judge in Slovenia. And I told you, that is myself. I am the judge, I'm a police officer, I'm a prosecutor, I'm the one who took initiative to deliver this case all the way to the end. Pass your fucking laws, your fucking regulations, your fucking state, your fucking people, whole fucking nation. I'm not a sovereign citizen. I just claim I'm from here, and I claim that you're actually not from here, because you started this genocide procedure when I was a baby, and you still did not manage to solve one. I'm 54 years old, and when this case is going to be solved, and you're still not going to be from here. I tell you this already today. I'm not interested in online income. You don't understand any of that stuff. But if you would be my skin, you would understand. I'm not doing this for profit, for the money, to make money off online income, or through it would be more than welcome, but I don't, I refuse. Because you have stolen from me so much that making the online income would be utter disgrace. It would be a utter disgrace for me to accept shit, handouts, charity, donation, baggery for the stuff that you have done to me. That's why there's no online income here. They were using him literally to intimidate on how I'm going to have to comply with a gag order that Slovenian court is going to give me. And demanded with the judges, in a parenthesis here in Slovenia, with the butchers from court, demanded from me to remove the content and not publish the stuff. Every fucking trial that is gonna take place will be published on the internet. Any fucking trial where the audio recorder will not be present will be sustained from any kind of comments from me, or acknowledging, signing any kind of comment, any paperwork, or even giving you the right to introduce me in absolutely any way to your absolutely anything you have to say. You understand? You're not recognized as a state, not as a country, not as a nation. During the World War II, you refer to Germans and Italians here, Hungarians, as occupators. Occupator is the one that enters the country and occupies one. You are occupator. You're not my people. You're not my country. You're not the judges, and you're not the police. You are equal to Gestapo, something I already told at Home for Elderly People to one of the nurses with whom I met in respect to my father's medical situation. I don't see you. I don't see myself in you. I don't have anything to do with you. Yes, you can summon me to the court. Yes, you can arrest me. You can jail me. You can kill me, whatever the fuck you do. However, without you being recorded, without you being placed on the internet, you understand? That's the name of the game. It doesn't matter. There's no gag order here. When it comes to genocide, when it comes to extermination, there is no such thing as a gag order. This is the first thing. This guy was involved as a kid, and with the US government, he attempted obviously also to portray me as a schizophrenic, because it's quite evident that this guy did not have no fucking company when he already was making plea and deals with the US government he will demonstrate you that he did have to comply, and in the end, through the hardship, through all kinds of clusterfuck that American U.S. government administration created for one, he was somehow let go of the hook. So what he's going to do is he's going to demonstrate you on why he had to go through things, and he's going to give you, he's going to spank you on your asses, and he's going to demonstrate you why you do have to comply with things like that. But this is economic stuff. This is a money-related stuff. I would advise anybody out there, do not fuck with the government. If they tell you to shut the fuck up about a trial, then you shut the fuck up. It's about the money. If you have all your shit together, paperwork, etc., 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 what the hell do you have to worry about? If it's a government, it's a government. This is not a private, private company, entity, whatever, that you're dealing with. You're dealing with a government. If the worst comes to worst and the government does you injustice and that kind of stuff, and yeah, then probably I would also use as a resource also the internet to demonstrate that there was something very bad done to me. But this guy just started life. He didn't have any kind of court cases earlier, anything like that, and he doesn't know three shit about life, and he's doing quite well. He brags about making a lot of money, that he is rich and this and that. Maybe the most disgusting thing he did was he had this Americans, this top government official Americans saying to me that, and he alone said that if I would not like his Russian girlfriend, that he would not marry one. What the fuck do I have to do with your Russian girlfriend in the first place? I don't care about your Russian girlfriend. And he had American officials say to me, let me repeat the words, we will judge you, because this Russian girlfriend that he has, she's completely neutral in respect to my case. She did not take any side against me. He makes sure that he would video record himself properly. He makes sure that he would video record himself next to me and next to his girlfriend, both of us exchanging dialogue with one another, and with him in between, asking her questions, with her declaring himself that she's not bothered with me, that the only thing that she's interested is in dating him, wife, and this and that, and so on and so forth. Well, we all know how already that went. We have seen Russian ladies traveling to Switzerland and marry even billionaires over there, and then with a lot of money in the pocket. No, they did not go back to Russia, but we have seen this story many, many times. This is not even the stuff that bothers me, that worries me. This is not the kind of stuff that worries me. They did all kinds of they did all kinds of stuff to convince Russians that the West is not evil. Well, it pays off to have also a Russian girlfriend because of American government, which was and is in the bed with the Russians, and you know was trying to do everything possible to promote Russian circles within the West at expense of genocide against people like myself, also from Eastern Europe. This is just the nature of American government, of the British Romanovs. You know who Romanovs are in Britain. You know where you can find them inside of Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle. This is just the nature of the way they do that stuff. Well, I really don't give a fuck about who he gets married to. I have seen stuff that he is talking about, that he was talking about too many times before. I cannot even count how many times have I seen guys like this one involved in MK Ultra. You understand? I have seen so many like this. I'm not going to say more than what I can count, but great many. Okay, just great many. And so, while there is such thing like I don't want anything from you, I am simply in love with you, and etc., there is also that other stuff right here, and it looks ugly. It doesn't look good. Oh, shit. You see this kind of stuff? So what the Putin did is what naturally every garbage like this would do. He sends the females, he sends the best looking females, and because what is it that he wants? He wants inclusion of the Russia back on the picture, as it was prior to the annihilation of Ukraine. And how do you do this? Well, the best way is to throw in the people dreck. How do you throw dreck into the people? How you throw dreck into the people? You have people whom you promote through society as a millionaires, as a billionaires, as mainstream media trolls, marry Russian spouses. And so you flood with them, with a dreck. You flood the society with a dreck. So that normal people, wherever they find themselves, they cannot see themselves in one another because there is always somebody next to them who is disturbed, who is bothered, who is insulted. Do you understand me what I'm trying to say? Because it's always about the insult, hurt, feelings, etc., while gazing through the graves of other people, basically. This is the way it works in Britain. This is the British way of doing things. That's how they do it. So, you're going to insult my spouse and this and that, that kind of stuff. What's the matter? What's the matter? I also don't see myself in you. I also like the other side, the Russian side. Fuck you. Yeah, that's right. And my wife is a Russian. Yeah, that's right. You know what I'm talking about? That's how he goes into Illuminati circles. That's what that is about. So do you think I'm going to go and promote you, that I'm going to see myself and say, oh yeah, man, I love marriage. Love knows no borders. And what else is out there? How many sayings out there are they? If you watch Putin lately, you might have even learned he gave you a speech, a beautiful speech in which he clearly indicated that Russians are actually Ukrainians. But this is not the video about him. Enough about that stuff. This is a video about my father, whom yesterday I met, as I started at the beginning of this video, and well, this issue here directly concerns the issue of the yesterday and the day before. The day before I was just silent, and I went inside of the car in the parking lot right here at Home for Elderly People. I had enough of it, repeated always the same thing. Basically attitude in return for visits, attitude for attempt to help. The core idea to extremize, to aggravate as much as possible. There is something little I posted about what took place. I had the issue, and you can see it right here, and on the bottom you also get to see the video. So a little video also I posted about how things are run, how it is, about everything, how things are basically. I gave you a comment. I explained to you exactly what took place. Obviously that I'm not pleased with this kind of stuff that goes on. And as I said, if I want to save my father, My father is exactly whatever is stated here, but still, this is my father. This is my father. That's all I gotta say. But I told him yesterday, he was more social, he recognized me. He was like, hey, 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 and this and that. Was in a different kind of mode. It does this stuff. This stuff is just happening. He was in a different kind of mode. So I took the opportunity and explained him exactly what police was warning me about not to do, not to do, not to do. See, in the past, I already tried to help him. I tried to help him by saying to him, Daddy, 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 do you remember when we were in Portugal? Do you remember when we were in Italy? Do you remember where we traveled around? I said, we're going to go. They show us a real estate, and in Portugal, and in Italy, and in Croatia, and so on and so forth. How you're going to buy a villa, and we're going to do this. Father was in the United States of America. He got to see a beautiful New York State. He got to see locations in the U.S., and the only one that he really, really liked so much was really in a New York State. He likes New York. With the police brainwashing me on how wonderful it's going to be when it's going to be just me and my father, and the mama is doing a bad stuff type of conspiracy. That's basically to get you in a mind game to see yourself in a conspiracy. That's why I posted this stuff here. Don't play with me. I told you, you're wasting your breath. You got nothing left on your side. You got nothing to confront me with. You got nothing. You got no bullets. The whole thing, the whole case is out. You have absolutely nothing. The last thing you had was a father. The last thing you had, you no longer have. If you don't understand, if you don't know how to read this shit, there is a little box right here on the side. It's called a translate. No, I don't give a fuck about if the guy gets married to the Russian girl. Why would I give a fuck about if he gets married to the Russian girl? I don't care. If you get married to whoever you get married, that's your business. But the moment that you're going to start to fuck with me, the moment that you're going to stand up on my way and have anything to say about my views, you're the enemy. That's it. On a heartbeat. Instantly. The moment you got a problem with me, you have a problem with me. This is the way it is. I am not here to apologize to anybody to exist. It is just as simple. Do I care about whether you are a Russian woman or whatever the fuck woman you are? No, I don't care. I don't care. Why the hell would I care about the Russian if you're Russian? Why the hell would I care about that stuff? I met some gorgeous, beautiful Russian woman. But this Russian woman, every one of them was a Russian. And when it comes to what is a Russian, it's exactly the opposite of what Vladimir Putin claims. Vladimir Putin claims, oh, the Ukrainians are Russians. The Ukraine was the original Russia. This is the newest video about the Putin. This is the new schizophrenia that Putin came. Obviously, he has a great love for this original Russian people. Maybe that's why he's doing this, because he loves them so much. That's love, what you see here. That's a love, ladies and gentlemen. That's a love, man. That's a love, okay? That's how you love somebody. That's what you do with it. He's part of you, man. Don't you see? It's the same DNA, Putin claims. It's not a real country, Ukraine. This is an ancient Russian history. You know?
March 8, 2014.
Kiev is the mother of the Russia. You see this? Mama of the Russia is a Kiev. Killing is love. I love you so much, I kill you. I mean, Putin is a little bit extraordinary, I admit. He's not an average guy, okay? He's not an average guy. They make people out of dumpsters. There is no difference between the top politician and between the homeless person, because it's the system that creates person. Except if your name is my name. Unless you are Bastian Hauser. Unless you're the one who owns Hauser Times. And I really own it. Unless your name is Bastian Hauser, you're nobody. People are very judgmental. And the only thing I'm going to say to you, to all of you involved in this, judge people when you walk in their shoes. Try to walk in their shoes and then judge them. Don't judge them if you don't walk in their shoes. Based on seeing, those that want to judge me ended up as a homeless people, dead people, inside of the psychiatric hospitals, inside a home for elderly people, all kinds of homes. Homeless without leaving behind even a single fucking trace about the stuff that went on. So if you can be 50, 40 years unemployed, if you were born to the system which listed you for annihilation, deletion, you understand? If you are born in a country where you were listed as a child, as a baby, as the one that needs to be erased, do not criticize me. Do not talk about me. First, walk in my shoes, then tell me about what your opinion is and how you see things. About my lifestyle, about all kinds of stuff that British royals have so much, and with Americans also to say, and etc., etc., etc. First, do this, and then talk to me about it. You are somebody and something if you can win the system against all odds, like I did. If you can do this, if you can prove it like I did, if you can do the stuff like this, then you're somebody and something. Paddling together with the system doesn't mean that you're anybody, even if you're a president of the state, even if you're at the top of the state. It just means that system created out of you certain villain, something that it's needed for the system. The elite, the governing elite rule, basically, that's all there is. You understand? Then you can talk to me about who is what is. I spoke to Father. I said to him yesterday, I said to him, Daddy, Daddy, I said to him, listen, I said, JURŠIČ no longer is at Novomesto police station. He is no longer in the police. He's gone. I said to him, Janez Ogulin is gone. And he's just looking at me silently and he's listening. Searching for any kind of... They have cameras all over the place. I'm not allowed to video record, but the Home for Elderly records everything. I should say police. With literally Miran Sudin giving orders, Kurchan giving orders to Home for Elderly people to video record everything in front of me, discussing these issues, and saying to me, you're not allowed to video record, but I will give the order to video record everything that you have going on. JURŠIČ discussing these issues, and it's okay. I don't mind. You see, I don't mind to be video recorded. I don't mind to be surveillanced. See, that's that fucked up part about me. See, I don't have a problem with being video surveillance. I don't have a problem to be thrown on a camera. I'm just a little bit different, because it's not about being on a camera, but it's what you make out of this whole thing. You know? The cameras become dangerous when they manage to intimidate you. Like I demonstrated in the video, when based on eavesdropping and stuff, And this is the stuff that went all along. Whatever you say inside, blah, 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 blah. With who knows how many people coming inside of the house and insisting that the house will be eavesdropped. Demonstrated me video recordings of inside areas of the house, all kinds of stuff, suggesting me that the house is going to be monitored from a chimney here from a Kirka pharmaceutical company, from labs over there, and etc., all kinds of crazy schizophrenia shit, really. Just as the certificate they have awarded me with in 2012. That's a gag order. When they write down that you are paranoid schizophrenic, that is the real gag order. That's a real gag order. When they give you a paper gag order, that's a shitu. That's a shitu. Try to be helpful to your government. You understand? Try to help your government. As an American, if you live in the U.S., try to help your government. Don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. When it comes to simple issues, if they ask you for the bills, for the accountability, that they are not sure about something or whatever, try to be a human being. Try to treat people with respect who also work just like you do, day to day, to pay their bills. Don't go immediately for conspiracy. Try to work with them. Try to be humane, and etc. Unless if something else happens. Now that's a different story. I'm not saying that you must be silent if they go and do some kind of stuff that is racist, that is, that they do something to you to gag you in a different way, intimidate you because of something else that goes on. That's a different story. That's a different story. That's a totally different story. As you know, in 2016, I found myself in Belarus. You know that. And I was with a Belarusian girl over there. And I really wanted to marry her. I am not the person that is going to go out there and say, you are a Russian, da-da-da. Now I'm going to fuck you because you're Russian. I don't even understand this shit. I don't even understand any of this stuff. This is what you created out of me during MK Ultra. Almost. Not even like this it did not work. Not even during MK Ultra, when Robert Golop was all obsessed with the idea to convince me that the Casio 91 F91W, this is just a copy of it. I have one inside of the room. Is the watch that you hate. You fucking hate. Fucking hate you. Fucking hate your watch, you motherfucker. You hate. Here. This is what they were showing me like this all the time during MK Ultra. Intimidated through the violence. Sure enough, during MK Ultra, I couldn't see the fucking watch. This one I like because it's a golden color, but the black one, they intimidated me. The black one was absolutely a no-no. No, absolutely no. Not allowed to have one. I hated that fucking Casio F91W during MK Ultra. Even that was one of the earliest watches involved in MK Ultra. I think since, without any exaggeration, 1988, I created a whole fucking video about this watch. Very exhausting stuff. As you know, the Soviet Union still existed, but I found myself with a Naruhito and his father Akihito planning already production of this watch, like this golden looking watch. This is not recommendable because the belt is going to become like this. They demonstrated me, the Indian guy who was doing this kind of stuff, they demonstrated me that the golden color, this is just a spray, and eventually it's going to come off. That kind of stuff. This was involved in MK Ultra. I didn't do a review on one yet. It's also that damaged watch. I have the review for it. I'm just giving you an example about the Russian woman. You said, what you got to do with the Russian woman? I couldn't stand the fucking Casio F91W. The watch that Osama bin Laden even had. He's a more important person than Pope Francis, right? Pope Francis also had one, and Obama also had one, and a whole bunch of people. I am just kidding in respect to Obama bin Laden's importance. I want to go and prioritize. I'm just joking. I'm just being entertaining a little bit about this stuff. I hated the watch. I hated the fucking watch. I couldn't stand the fucking watch. Till one day I purchased one on the internet. I think the year when I purchased one on the internet was like 2000 and I don't even know. I wanted something very light on my skin, and I think I bought it in 2011, 2012, I don't know. And when Robert Golob saw this watch with a Milan Kuchan, he went completely insane. It was... I was literally one of the first people who saw this real Casio, not this. This is just a cheap copy from AliExpress watch being launched in the world through the Japanese Imperials. I told you about that. They would show me all these watches and so on. And it was just maybe the longest, one of the longest involved watches. There were also other watches. And once I purchased that watch in 2000 and 2012 or 2011, Robert Golob, Slovenian Prime Minister, now went completely insane. Why? Because he used to have Casio F91W. He had one at his work, and etc., etc., and would use one on day-to-day basis. Is the only watch, and that's why they made the hate watch. And once I purchased one, he no longer could even wear one occasionally. He already replaced that watch with another watch and watches, but once I purchased it, it was over for him. It was it. Milan Kuchan also liked that kind of watch because it was a small watch. It's not a difficult thing to tell exactly why. The entire Novo Mesto police contemplated on. He eventually destroyed me the seal in exactly the same way as he had stolen me other watches. Just twisted one and make one look out and demonstrated during MK Ultra how I destroyed the seal. And then eventually what he did was he have stolen the seal, and that was it. And claimed that the seal was stolen for his friend also from Nova Gorica area in Slovenia, who was supposedly wearing this, still was wearing this kind of watch. This kind of stuff we had going on inside of this house. You know, I told my father yesterday, I told him, be careful. You remember when I said, Janez Ogulin, Igor JURŠIČ, no longer at the police station. I told him, be careful that they said, do you know the two? Do you know the two? I was very, very nice. I said, do you know the two? And he said, I don't know who these people are. I don't know who these people are. And I said to him, well, I said, if they recognize you before you recognize them, I told him this yesterday. You're going to be in a lot of trouble. I told him. Exactly because of the writing that I wrote down here. I keep my word. I told him if it's going to happen that the two are going to recognize you. You're saying to me right now, I said, I told him, just remember, you're saying that you don't know any of the two. That you don't know any of the two. I told him, you said that you don't know any of the two. You don't know any of the two. I told him, knowing that he's lying, we all know that he's lying this. He's lying all along. I told him yesterday, these two guys, they're no longer at the police station. You know? I said to him, why do you keep back this stuff? I said to him, Igor JURŠIČ no longer is at the police station. Janez Ogulin no longer is at the police station. I told him, you need to come home. You need to have a life. He said, I don't know any of the two. I don't know one or the other. I don't know these guys. I never heard of these guys. And I said to him, well, Daddy, I said, just be careful that the two guys that you said that you don't know them will not recognize you and say that they know you. I said, be careful that, I told him, be careful that the two will not recognize you before you're going to recognize them. I told him this. I said, you're going to be in a lot of trouble in that case. I said, because right now, when you're saying that you don't recognize the two, you're lying. Like this, I told him, but in a very nice way, playful. Let me demonstrate you something. This guy here, see this guy here? This used to be a valet parking. You know what a valet parking is? The valet parking? A valet parking is like this. This is where you would deliver your car to some high-rise building, you know, and then you would have a guy that will run to your car, and he would open the door for you, and what he would do is he would go and he would park the car for you. And then when you would come back, he would give you a ticket. When then you would come back from the visit at whoever place you were, he would give you a number, and you would take the number, the key of his vehicle, and you would run into the garage to retrieve his vehicle. Basically deliver the vehicle at the garage at the location where he first met you. Therefore, a customer, you would open the door for the customer would sit inside of the car, and hopefully he will give you a few dollars, a tip, and drove off. You know what I mean? This is a valet. I used to work also as a valet parking in the US. Nothing to be ashamed of, just a job, I think any job is okay. I don't prejudge, discriminate against any job. Nothing wrong with this stuff. That's a valet. And this guy here was a valet guy. This was a valet guy, this guy. This was a valet. This was a man that was a valet guy in a blue uniform. He was uniformed as a police officer and a valet guy. He was a valet parking guy. That's how I saw him as a valet guy, the guy that will take the number and he will rapidly go to park your car, and then he would rapidly go to retrieve your car and deliver the car back. Well, in this case, right here at the Kochevareva ulica, this is what he was doing. And this was the case with the car of my father, with the cars of my father. And my father says yesterday that he doesn't know him. Come on. Come on, baby, baby. It's like this. Beginning the 96, Igor JURŠIČ became a valet parking guy for the father. Not in a sense that he would go and do the stuff like that, and also in the sense, as I stated, but mostly what he would do is, his job was deputized by Janez Ogulin, the other guy, older guy that I demonstrated you. They had another director, the two work under other director, to find a parking space for the father. They would be here at home. It's going to be a big day. They treated my father like executive, like a Kirka pharmaceutical executive, like Andrianic. Just like this. A special visit. This was the old director from Novo Mesto police station. And my father would come in the morning and he would be escorted, or he would also meet a neighbor here. His name is Metod Yerman. I mean, to say this kind of stuff to me is bullshit. You're bizarre, you're funny, you're self-ridiculing, and it's my father. You know what I mean? I don't want him to be in trouble. For the rest, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. But that's a big overstatement. He made it yesterday. And what they would do is they would look for the parking. They would make sure from the beginning. Yeah, that's the way it was from the beginning. From the beginning, the JURŠIČ had a job to make sure that there will be a parking space available here for the father whenever the father would come at the police station, where he would start to have meetings with the police people. He would discuss. He also participated, observed the torture. This is the stuff that went on, beginning in 1996. Yeah, and this is exactly how Mr. Igor JURŠIČ became a personal deputy of, because he was, in Slovenia they say grebator, grebator, a valet parking grebator, the rapid man that will, I will do anything for you. You know what I mean? You know the song, I will do anything for you. That's what this is. This is how it all started. We go to beginnings. So when our father said to me yesterday, to me it was humorous, the whole thing. I was playing with him. I was looking at him. I was playful. But I did told him whatever pertains to him. When he said to me that he doesn't know these guys, it was like, he won't even search for the parking spot here as you continue and you go this way. He even parked, my father even parked his car here. They would park his car here. This is a neighbor, Metod Yerman also. Then they would deliver him his car back, and father retired already, felt good about this stuff, the police, all that kind of stuff. It was just, it made him feel good. All these neighbors here that you see, they would take the cars, but there would be no parking space. When, over the course of the time, however, when the crime started to mount in independent Slovenian state, my father would also be told, like a piece of shit, park next to the school, or go wherever the hell, find the parking lot. They would no longer treat him like this. They treated him like shit. And parallel to his visits to the police station, which, in a parenthesis, police station, I told you, to these mods here, he no longer was excited about coming at a police station. The relationship between him and the police became more edgy. He was grumpy more and more, unhappy about all this stuff because the stuff kept going. The stuff kept going. I did not put down my guns. I eventually was in the United States of America. You know, the only mistake I made is these meetings with the father already started upon the Slovenian independence in 1991, as the Slovenian state did absolutely everything possible to continue to use the father in a newly established independent, so-called independent Slovenian state. So to get the genocide going, of course, as you can imagine, they needed my father the most. They need somebody in the family, and that somebody, more than anybody, was my father. And I'm not going to say more than anybody, but definitely was a father. It was nothing less than mom, as it became evident. But the crime kept going and kept going. And this is, you know, what he stated to me yesterday that he doesn't know is just not true. He knows it very good. He knows very well. He knows extremely well Igor JURŠIČ. He knows extremely well the other police officer, which I demonstrated you, Janez Ogulin. You know, I came to realize that, I tell you what, since I am audio recording this stuff, since I am doing this kind of stuff, that I give you actually the audio recording of the stuff that went on yesterday. I should have done this already earlier. I didn't know what the hell to do with it. It's a lot to tell. And but I decided I am actually going to give you entire audio recording about the stuff that went on there yesterday. I don't see why not. So, did you see I spoke with him very nicely? I had a rather more humorous way, but I also told him very seriously, I told him, be careful that the two individuals you say that you don't know them, be careful so that they will not recognize you before you recognize them. I told him this. I told him this. The only thing, I told him, be careful that the two are not going to recognize you before you're going to recognize them, because that would be very, very bad then, in that case, as you imagine. And I also told him, what you are saying right now, that you don't know the two, you're lying. You do know the two. You absolutely do know the two. There is no doubt that you do know the two. You absolutely do. He is making things very difficult for himself. Nobody other than himself. He's making things very, very impossible. And in the end, it might just happen that he's going to be prosecuted for lying and for everything that I stated on that page. And I would really not want that to happen, but since I did such a beautiful work, I'm really, really proud of it. I did a very, very good job. The work I have done is truly, truly extraordinary. I can afford to do exactly the stuff that Miran Sudin claimed, that I will go to the jail and all kinds of stuff like this. You know? Because I can, you cannot, but because I can. I can, but you cannot. Some people can and some people cannot. There is such a thing. You as a police officer, you as a president, you cannot, but I can. Because I can. I really can. I'm just transferring the file right now so that that I can play you the excerpt where I spend a little bit of time with the father talking to him about this thing. like I said, he was in a much, much better humor than the day earlier when he was going to make me angry, and instead of that, we did not even spoke a single word. I just stood up and I went inside of the car. I didn't want to have any kind of, I don't want to expose myself to, you know, I got this stuff on the wrong channel. I'm going to update and upload it to another channel. I see this is not, I uploaded to the wrong channel. I'm going to upload to all other channels that video so that it can be seen. Yeah, father could really find himself in a trouble because of this kind of stuff. It's stupid to say that you don't know when you do know.
Basically shown that if you let that person not sure road, they use like a stop and mention to me.
I'm not sure about exactly. I don't know. I don't know if I got the correct audio. The rest of the video is just going to be in a Slovenian language. The audio, that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to do two videos. I'm not going to go and or burn the video, movie, stuff like that. I don't want to do that kind of stuff. It's easier to just play the audio, and that's all there is. There's nothing else to say here. All these people here, every one of these neighbors here, every fucking one of the neighbors here that you see here, everybody saw me. This entire place, they not only they saw me, but they know the father who was coming to pick up the car here. Father was also parking the car in this side of the road here. I should have recalled what exactly was here, but I cannot. It doesn't come to me exactly what was right here behind the this was a highly torture area, this area right here. They also had him park here. I have to yet go through this stuff here, but it doesn't come to me what was behind there before. But all these houses, they all got to know my father with his car. They were all involved in torture. Every one of these houses was involved in MK Ultra. Every one of these houses saw me. The police solicited everybody in this entire hill, entire Novo Mesto city. But this stuff here really pertains to my father. This stuff really pertains to my father. All this, everywhere. This really pertains to the parking of my father issue, which was a big deal because it was a lot of cars and the father would have no place to park. He had no place to park, no place to park. It was madness, man. No place to park. I told you about the Milan Kuchan, where he would be parking with Gregor Golobic. Their cars, they would be parking them right here behind the Merkur. This was their designated area. Usually they would find a parking spot for the meetings with my father, regular meetings with my father between the director and between the investigators, police. At this parking lot, this is a reserved parking lot for the customers. It's actually employees who take one, and the same shit as at home for elderly people, but usually they would find him here. Just the only thing I do is I amplify this stuff here. This stuff was done in a very nice way. I try to be as nice as possible to him. just in a nice way to make him understand that he is lying, and if it's going to happen, that the two guys that he said that he does not know them, if they're going to recognize him before he's going to recognize the two, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. I would not even bother with this shit if it was not my father. It is just as simple. Because he needs to have something out of his life. He needs to move on and live a normal life. Till one day he's going to die. This is the way I see it. But he must live life like a human being. So, this is it. This should be about the father here. Anyways, this must be it. What you heard right there, I was asking him if you recognize. So, yeah, you can hear me talking to him about how you parked the car around the police station, how they assisted you when you had a meeting at the police station. You were able to hear that stuff. I have another recorder that I plugged on right now, which is a much clearer, much better recording than this. Don't worry about the recording. I have a high quality recording available. Don't worry about that kind of stuff. I do have a much better recorder available to demonstrate the stuff I was talking to you about. It's not a big deal. We can take care of that. I thought the recorder on that recorder would have been better, but it really was not better. But that I said, who cares? Father was warned. Father was told, please, please, please. Please, for your own sake. Please, for your own sake. For the love of yourself. That's all there is to it. I try to be nice, playful, try to remind him of the meetings at the police station that he had in the mornings with the police, where they would also deliver me and stuff like this, since the independence of Slovenia. And then beginning in 1996, it was exactly Igor JURŠIČ who would take care of this parking lots. He was the one who was playing with this stuff. this, I'll be honest with you, if I would be Igor JURŠIČ or I would be Janez Ogulin, me myself, I would go to the father and say, you know, it's just better that you tell the whole thing, otherwise you too are going to be fucked. There is nothing else we can do for you. If I was Igor JURŠIČ or if I was Janez Ogulin, that's exactly what I would do, rather than taking him to the hell along with it. There you go. I'm just gonna do this. It was a brief visit, but all good. Is it like this? I missed it out a little bit. Let's hear this. I say, did you go with mom out? Did you the two you go out? I talked to him. Did you go for a walk? I tell him I would like to bring him home. I don't know what else I told him. I say, would it be better that you come home? Shit, I don't like to admit, but recording in this area of the lobby is really, really, really shitty. This is very good recorder, really good recorder, but this is terrible. I can shit here, I can not hear even, but I say to him, do you know that Igor JURŠIČ no longer is at the police station? They removed him. And then I go, do you know that Janez Ogulin no longer is at the police station? And he says, I don't know any of these two guys. I don't know any of these people. I said, Ogulin no longer is. Do you know anything about that? I try to make him understand that his body is no longer at the police station. I say, did you forgot? He says, no, I don't know any of these guys. I said, did you forgot how you used to visit a police station and come on the meetings with these directors of the Novo Mesto police station? Did you forgot? I just ask him questions, and I ask him in a funny way, do you know anything about this? Do you know anything about that? Do you know about this? He doesn't know anything. I said to him, your friends, they're no longer at the police station. I said, you recall when you used to park the car next to the police, when you used to go to the police station for the meetings, do you remember anything? He definitely would know who this guy is based on what I stated, talking about Igor JURŠIČ. When it comes to Ogulin, he knows he knows too good Ogulin, and the director before the Ogulin was a I'm not talking about Anton Gulai. I'm talking about the director, the old director, I think from Shentierney. Very good, that old director from Shentierney area. I think he was from Shentierney. He had this old director had a daughter, good-looking daughter. I said to him, try to recall a little bit what it was. So that's not going to happen that the two of these guys whom you say you do not know who they are, so that's not going to happen that the two of these guys will recognize you before you will recognize them. I said to him, you don't know them. You don't know them. Well, I said to him, if it's going to happen that the two of them get to know you, recognize you before you recognize them, you're going to be in a lot of problems. I told him, you're lying right now. recording is shit. I will never do this again. Never will do this in that area. Basically, it's like this. I have nobody to give any kind of excuses here. It was a while since I was with the father, but father knows everything in respect to the play with the car, with the battery, with all the stuff that I have gone through, with what my mother is going to be doing to drive me crazy, to boost the conspiracy theories on what they're going to do to the father because I will not be there. All the death threats they inserted. Father knows, using who knows how many people, with all kinds of scenarios on what will be with the father if you don't come. And just as I described, with the father alone, became excited. Based on interrogation he was watching with the police, where they harrowed me with the issues, he became excited whenever he observed something that I expressed worry for him. Anything, he became crazy about that stuff. He was crazy about MK Ultra. No need to act in my face with, like, you know, like a Mona, basically, you know, like you haven't come to visit me, this and that. He knew exactly about my health situation. He knew exactly about absolutely everything I'm going to have to do. No reason, no play with me like this. If you want to help yourself, then be my guest. It would have been smart thing to do. Like I said, Janez Ogulin and Igor JURŠIČ, together with Anton Gulai and with the previous director of the police, they alone should advise my father that is in his best interest to recognize them before they will be compelled to spit the truth out. Because there is no more up here. This here is worthless. The gag order from the psychiatric hospital from 2012, based on the evidence I provided, is worthless. Another bird appeared yesterday, and who no longer even took care of my father, from what my mom told me, when the father was at the department 203 upstairs. Now he was transferred in another room, I understand, I don't know, 126 or something like that. On the first floor, they closed entire floor upstairs where the father was, because they claim they're going to do renovation. That's very, very, very criminal, very, very illegal, illegitimate. It's very serious. I find it, before closing this case, it's a very serious violation for you to remodel something that you have no right to till this case is over. It's a crime. That's evidence. Everything on that floor is evidence. It's a criminal evidence, everything. So father was transferred downstairs, and based on Robert Golob's promise that he will do the renovation upstairs, that's exactly what took place. It was all kinds of death threats. Mother brought the TV, and another bird popped up yesterday for me to finish this video. Yanko came. A nurse Yanko appeared, exactly based on MK Ultra scenario. Mother came to pick up father and took him to his room. And as the mother was coming on her way back, Yanko, as mother took father, Yanko appeared and started to talk to the circle of people right there in front of me. I sat at the lobby, and did exactly based on MK Ultra scenario. Came and stopped at one of those people and talk to that person. Till my mother came, and when mother came, he all of a sudden turned around and came to me. Oh, hello. The thing is, I had nothing to say to him. And the only thing I did was, I just said, walk. That's it. There's no hello, there is nothing, there is no hey ho, hey hi. hello, is just bye-bye, just walk. That's all there is. Go. That's it. Nurse Janko insisted during MK Ultra that we don't have anything to talk to. The only time you're going to see me talking to is going to be on the court. That's all there is to it. If you're going to see me on the court, if you're not going to be thrown in a jail before that. That's all there is. Other than that, we're finished. Long ago. The last attempts, Nurse Janko was using what appeared to me to be a state prosecutor. Might have been from Ljubljana, maybe even, who was assuring him that everything is going to be okay and demanded from me to see him as a key witness. Therefore, a Nurse Janko is not possible because of the degree of crime a Nurse Janko was involved in. It's not possible. Any one of you with the police credentials that you are involved in Mount Everest of crime, none of you is going to be any kind of, or whether that be a nurse, whether that be a police officer, whether that be a judge, whatever that be a person with holding a government position, it's not possible. Doctor, whatever, it's not possible. You will be trialed. You will be trialed and sentenced based on domestic terrorism, international terrorism charges, torture charges, and etc., etc. It's not possible. And went on further to that, threatened me with psychiatric hospitalization. What was the best about yesterday, I took my mom to another location, to the store, after we left from the father, and there was a store where I took her, waiting outside, and what I'm doing is, inside of the car, I'm doing the recap about what went on before I saved the recordings. And just as I come to this issue pertaining to the Janko, as I explained everything about what he had, this was all done based on MK Ultra scenario. He popped himself into my face. And I explained about that stuff. Janko, the sirens, the ambulance sirens went on. Janko was just a partisan of psychiatric hospitalizations for psychiatry. He claimed that this will be my last chance during MK Ultra, that this will be my last chance during MK Ultra, and never ever afterwards. What he did yesterday, that it would depend on the impression that he would get from me yesterday. Then he also had other scenarios, such as that based on interaction with me, obviously where everything would be laid down about him, he would also make the conclusion what to do with me, that he would assault me, I don't know, in the store or whatever, in one of the stores, that he would meet me and stuff like this, where there would be no cameras. Gesture that yesterday what he did was, it would be done on the cameras and so on, but that we would meet, and that he would assault me and all kinds of stuff, and that if he would have to go to the prison, that he would, once he would come out of the prison, he would definitely kill me, and etc., etc., etc. Nurse Janko just had a lot of mental problems. He just is very, very, very mental, very, very mental case. Violence was just some part of him always, since I remember him. Intellectual individual, but so crazy. With that being said, I don't have anything to say. I don't have absolutely anything to say about this. That's all there was in respect to yesterday. It's very important. It's important for you to understand that I'm trying to reason my father, and also that my father has no corner left. Finally, it's crazy because this case can only go one way, and we all know which way that is. That's one thing. And the second thing is, he can get himself in a lot of trouble by keeping silent about the stuff that I asked him about yesterday. Nicely, I told him, if he remembers, if he recalls his meetings and stuff like this. It's very, very difficult because I am too good at this stuff. I remember everything about the stuff that went on, everything what they tried to do, how they did, and so on. It's not going to work out. It's just crazy. Maybe he doesn't like me, but I'm still the only light for him out there that is going to give him the care that he needs, rehabilitation, a place which he can call home. This is just the way it is. That's just how it is. So that he can have something out of his life. I think that if you don't finish properly your life, you practically didn't have one, to put it plain and simple. I don't know any better way than to, as I stated in this blog. So that's all. With that being said, I'm never going to record that in that lobby area again. That's not going to happen. That place sucks. Learn something new. Always present. Wherever the hell I go, whatever I do, any kind of courtroom, if it's a courtroom without my having the right to record, sign, don't know how to sign, don't even understand, senor. Everything on the internet till this case is closed. Don't know anything about any kind of gag orders, don't know anything about that stuff. You take my, in a parenthesis, blog, and I did explain to you, this is not a blog. And this is not what you watch is not the video. This is a testimony. It's very serious stuff. Whatever the hell you do with it, if I'm still alive, I still keep going, and the stuff is going to keep coming back. We still keep going till I actually drop dead. If I'm not alive anymore, I don't have to worry about it. But nobody's going to say that I haven't done to prove my case. That's all. I don't have anything else to say about this video. About meeting father on December the 6th, 2025 and explaining him the issue behind what will happen eventually if other people recognize him before he's going to recognize them. This issue was, as Igor JURŠIČ will explain, together with Andrei Štefanić, in fact even discussed between my father, Andrei Štefanić, Igor JURŠIČ, Ogulin, etc., with my father getting worried about exactly what I stated. It was a time when they started to even talk about who's going to recognize, who's going to admit what, when. My father, during MK Ultra, did not act at the right state of mind. I did explain to you that when they delivered him to the police station, they would deliver him to boost his confidence, to boost his self-confidence, so that he could see himself with police investigators, with police apparatchiks over there at Novo Mesto police station. But good drink. That's just a water. That's nothing. The reality is right here. All that blah blah blah, all that image about all that stuff, blah blah, and the police cars and all this stuff, all that, you know, that's far, far, far behind me. You ought to be fucking scared of me. You gotta be scared of me. I am a little guy. I don't have a gun. I just have an audio recorder and the truth. And the truth. As for the young man, for the young American, for the young Americano, I had to go to the courthouse with him. There was this courthouse that they would take me. That was a courthouse they would take me. I should have even identified his grandfather. His family was involved in this case very, 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 very long time. And etc. and etc. and etc. and etc. and etc. I have a very, very, very negative experience with Russian Americans, with Russians of first, second, even third generation born in the United States of America. Extremely, extremely negative experience. Involved in mounted areas of violence in the U.S. Maybe more negative experience I have with them than with the Russians from Russia, maybe even. Because they're just fucking hot hats, butt hats. Because as if everybody in America would just compete with, you know, other racial and ethnic groups. Basically, that's how they make me feel like. Some group being proud of being, I don't know, of German origins, other group being proud of British whatever, another group of people being proud of whatever origins, you know, Chinese origins. But I found for the Russians to be, how can I say, totally unwilling to integrate into society past a Russian diarrhea. It appears to me that they are being brainwashed when they came to the US by their parents, grandparents, and just basically unacceptable, with a strong support from right out of the Russia. Somehow these birds born in America, Russians, they always search for the connection with outside of the borders with their Russian peers and see themselves in a strong, in a might, smart, better, and that kind of stuff. I just find that totally, how can I even say this, unacceptable, to put it plain and simple. And if you become their friend or something like this, they squeeze you through intimidation, through the lies, through the circles, into a small box, basically, where they handle you from within. I did not find them as an Americans at all. Russians born in America, I give you the thumbs down. Simple as this. I had Russians born in Russia, more logical, more understandable, many of them aware about what's going on, seeing themselves, not seeing themselves in stupid bullshit, and others completely insane. Okay, I'm just gonna say there were Russians that really were intimidated from their own people for seeing themselves in me, and there were of course also Russians that faked being intimidated from their own people. I just find something extremely rotten about it. You're not going to impress me with your Russian girlfriend or your Russian connections. Your Russian connections, the only thing that's going to happen is, when it comes to that, is just basically, just we gotta make sure I put you on a fucking train, bus, airplane, and the fuck out. That's all. Go back. Russia. That's all. I don't have any kind of understanding for this shit. Zero. Not interested in learning about the Russia, about the Russian, about any of that stuff. For obvious reasons. That's all there is. I like the philosophy. I'm not interested in it. It can clearly be seen what you have done with the people whom you claim were the original Russians. What you have done with the people for whom you claim you share the same DNA. Not interested. The fuck out. That's all. Russia. Russia is a mafia. Russian immigrants are gangsters. They come in a country, and even a fraction, they are supported financially and through all kinds of ways to persist, steal, do crime, and nothing other than crime. It is just as simple. It is simple as this. Yes, the time is coming when every wife, every spouse, anybody out there that would be suitable to marry anybody significant would make a big, big, big difference for a nation that did such atrocities in Ukraine as we're all able to witness, or that were done to me. They'll fucking pay you to marry one. You understand? But just because you're going to marry one and you're going to get paid, that doesn't mean that I'm going to kiss your ass. You are on the same list as your Russian spouse. This is the way it is. Then there might be judges out there. You were referred to as a judge in parentheses here in Slovenia. There might be. Yeah, this here is a Slovenian. And the only thing I'm going to ask you, do you know who I am? Because you're going to tell me at the court, I'm a judge such, and so on and so forth. And the only thing I'm going to ask you is, do you know who I am? That's when we meet at the court. If you're going to summon me to Slovenian court, the only thing that's going to happen is I'm going to ask you, do you know who I am? And then I'm going to say, do you know where you are as a judge? If it's going to happen here in the city of the Novo Mesto. I'm sure that you folks remember when I spoke about what went on inside of the courthouse at Novo Mesto City since I was a child, with the judges, with the Serbs that would deliver me there, with the Josip Broz Tito who would repeatedly deliver me over there on a regular basis. Not on a regular basis, but he visited. So there will be two things I'm going to ask you as a judge before we're even going to start the trial. Do you know who I am? Do you know where you are? Then you're going to get a chance to ask. Yes, it does make sense. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. As you see, they cut me from the internet when the blog was about to make a big up. This was the highest number last month that I got so far when it comes to the blog. You can see how the numbers are coming up, but they cut me a few days before the end of the month. They cut me from the internet. So that number should have been at least 10,000 views more or so. Yeah, The question here will be one thing. Do you know who I am? That will be the question. That will be my first question. You can go and you can read and you can talk about psychiatric hospitalization, whatever the hell you want to talk about. Good luck with it. The question will be, do you know who I am? And do you know where you are at? The Slovenian judge that intimidated, there was several of them, and I'm talking about the female judge. They did discuss this issue. They told me the only thing that's gonna it's gonna be sentence me for the contempt or whatever of the court or something like that for I don't know how many months, that I'm gonna disappear into the jail, and that I will be returned back, and the trial will be repeated and stuff like this. This is what they talked to me. Well, come and get it. Come and get it. I'm going to put the hands like this, and I'm going to go right into the jail. You're not going to like it. You're going to like it even less. You're going to fucking hate it. Come and get it. This is where we are at. Come and get it. I'm here. I didn't go. I didn't escape anywhere. I'll wait for you. And when you say go to the jail and whatever you're going to say, we're going to go to the jail. Come and get it. Come and get it.